wanted to move the bank's main office from its existing building to demolish the existing main office of Carver State Bank to make way for the new grocery store and the new shopping center development, Carver Commons. We had to demolish the Carver State Bank main office building that was on this site. And it was a beautiful building, and it was about a 7,800 square foot building, close to 8,000 square feet.
This curved archway at the front of the store, the architect who designed it was looking at an old historic photograph of the Old Star Theater that was located at 500 Martin Luther King Boulevard, and he took that as the emphasis, as the inspiration for that archway, so that we could, try to pick up some historical feel of the architecture of the area from back when it was a very vibrant area called West Broad Street.
One of the things that this new facility will offer us an opportunity to expand our product offerings. We will have the opportunity for extended hours, for example. The Food Line grocery store will probably be open from
8 a.m.
to 10 o'clock in the evening, which means that if we decided that we wanted to stay open late in the afternoon, we would have the additional security that comes with a full-service grocery supermarket here, and the lighted parking lot. So there's a good possibility that we're going to come up with some innovative approach to offer banking service at a different hour of the day and extend the hours of operation. And of course, close to the grocery store, we expect a very high ATM volume. We expect a very heavy utilization of our drive-in banking facility that will be a remote drive-in banking facility that will be out in the parking lot. So yes, our service capacity should increase with the new location.
I've been in here since last week, but they have already got all the shelving up, and they're already starting to put up the signs for what's going to be on every aisle. So the shelving contractor was in here last week and is still in here putting up shelving and getting it ready for stocking, which will take place probably in about 2 weeks. They'll start stocking the store. So let's go over here and see, and we'll kind of go around the store and see what the different aspects of it will be. This area is going to be the fresh produce section, and this will be the only place in the vicinity where you can get fresh fruits and vegetables. They'll be stocked on a regular basis, organic foods, and also foods that are in price ranges that people can afford to pay. One of the interesting things that happened when we were kind of in the planning stages for this project, I guess it was 2 summers ago, when we knew that we were going to have a real opportunity to do this deal with Food Lion and that they were interested in coming here, I did a sort of mystery shopping, and I went over and I went to the neighborhood market across the street, and I got a shopping list of things that I thought people would typically buy, 10 or 12 items, and I went through that little shop across the street and I priced those items. And then I went to a Food Lion store that same exact day, and there was a almost 20% markup in cost for the person who was shopping in the neighborhood store versus the Food Lion. And these are things like milk and baby formula and diapers and the kinds of things that people would have to buy.
Well, plus you probably saw no fresh produce,
right?
Because this neighborhood, there was anywhere within walking distance, within easy walking distance of the people who live in the federally subsidized housing around in this neighborhood, where they could find fresh produce. And so the new market will offer an opportunity for the people in the neighborhood to buy fresh produce near their homes.
Yeah, it's a very common phenomenon that's really found in all urban areas across the country, which is the phenomenon of a food desert, where you get into an urban location and you see fast food, junk food, and all kinds of additional negative things for a person's health, but you can't find fresh, wholesome food that's inexpensive, easy to prepare. And so what we're doing with this project is not just serving the economic needs of the community, but also the physical and health needs of the community. So we're very excited about being able to bring that kind of basic human service to a community where people don't have access to their own cars, rely on public transportation. And so this development is so critical, not just because it's going to bring dollars and jobs to the community, but also because it'll help people actually be able to feed their families a little bit better.
Another thing, I'm so pleased to see the signs that say good neighbors, good prices. We're hoping that this major national corporation, by coming into this facility, will not only be a place where people can spend money, but will reinvest in the neighborhood. And the initial signs are extremely positive. They held a job fair in our partner church, St. Philip AME Church, last week. And so we know that they are going to offer job opportunities to people who live in this neighborhood. But the concept of being good neighbors, it is absolutely fantastic to see that displayed on the signage inside the grocery store. Yes.
The Food Line has been a great partner so far. So going through the produce section, the next section that you'll come to is the deli bakery section. And this is the area where your pre-prepared foods are going to be located, where you'll be able to pick up your sandwiches, your deli meats, deli cheeses, all of your rotisserie chickens, and those kinds of quick service types of items that make your life a little bit easier that you find in modern grocery stores. There'll be a full-service deli bakery here, and that's going to be very convenient, we think, for people who work in the area, people who live in the neighborhood, and also for the parishioners coming out of churches on Sundays. We think that they'll be able to stop by and pick up Sunday dinner and carry it home with them and save a little time. And so that was one of the features of this development that we thought was very unique, was that we're partnering with a local church in order to create that parking lot. But that church is going to help drive customers into the store on those days that usually are not really peak days for grocery stores. So we think it's a win-win for the grocery store and for the church.
I'm extremely excited because my office will be right next door. And so I will be able to come over here and get me a fresh sandwich. Instead of something fried, I can get something from the deli.
In order to be a full-service grocery store and competitive with other local supermarkets, the store does need to sell beer and wine. However, because of the fact that we are so close to several neighborhood churches, and because of the fact that we're so close to residential homes, and because of the neighborhood that we're in, one of the things that we negotiated into our lease agreement with Food Line is that we're limiting them in terms of the size and type of liquor, the size and type of beer and wine that they can sell in the store. So we have very specific agreements with Food Line to eliminate the sale of what's called low-end fortified wines, like Mad Dog 2020 and Boone's Farm, and those kinds of cheap wines are not going to be available for sale in this store per the lease agreement, as well as sizes of beer bottles larger than 24 ounces. Those will be prohibited as well. So you won't be able to buy a 40-ounce bottle of liquor, and you won't be able to buy a bottle of cheap wine in this store, but you will be able to buy a nice bottle of Chardonnay or a nice, six-pack of, Heineken or something for your family. This is the loading dock, the loading area where all the food deliveries will come, and also where the trash compactor for the store will be located. And this steel structure that you see out here, this steel framing, is actually the framing for a huge garage door that's going to be a folding garage door that will open up when the delivery trucks come and close down when the delivery trucks leave, which is also another thing that we did in sensitivity to the community, because no one wants to be looking at the back side of a grocery store. So there are no real back sides of this building. You can't see any of the service areas from the exterior of the building when everything is closed down and shut. And that was something we did in consideration of the neighborhood that's back here. The folks who live in the housing development back here are living in a neighborhood. And if I was living in that neighborhood, I wouldn't want to have to look out my window and see a garage door, see a delivery bay or a trash compactor. So that's why we put that door there, in order to be sensitive to the community. I had a hard time envisioning how big this door was going to be until I saw you putting the frame of it up. So this is not the kind of door that I want to open up and close a bunch of times in a row, huh?
No.
Yeah. All right, thanks. And these openings are going to be covered with glass, sort of storefront type glass, and it's going to have historic photographs inside of the glass. And this was something that we did in agreement with the city of Savannah to try to preserve the history of this community. We agreed that we would place historic images inside of these very, very large windows. One of the other reasons why you have these large entrances, or at least faux entrances, was to comply with city historic district regulations that require a certain amount of glass and a certain amount of number of entrances at certain demarcated points along the face of any building that's located in downtown Savannah. Our project was interesting in that we were the first significant new building to get approved under a new ordinance for the Historic District of Savannah. So we had a new Historic District ordinance passed, and then we brought our building, and we had to negotiate with the city about certain aspects of the building in order to fit that brand new ordinance, which had never been applied to another project before we came and brought it to the city for approval. So in all of these big windows, we're going to have historic photos, and so these are the windows that we're trying to put photographs in of the bank, the founders of the bank, and then we have some very historic images of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard when it was called West Broad Street in its heyday, with a lot of commercial activity and showing African Americans who were prospering on the street and engaging in that regular commercial activity, the kind of things that we're trying to bring back to the community. We're trying to tie that back together with these historic photographs.
This is very important for us in the bank because we get an opportunity through these big, large picture windows to preserve for the community what was here before, the history of the bank that was here and that they saw for many years. We will probably be able to preserve, at least visually, some of that history through these picture windows. How you doing? Good to see you.
So y'all are finishing up the sidewalk?
We'll be through. We got one more thing to do out there in that curve, and we'll be through. We'll be done.
Okay, very good.
This is Mr. Leon Quillen, a long-term customer of Carver State Bank. He owns Concrete Finishing, and he's a well-respected concrete finisher and a general contractor around in Savannah area. And we've been delighted that he was able to do some work on this project. Thank you.
All right.